Imagine you are an ancient traveler, maybe a Greek merchant or a Roman official setting out on the adventure of a lifetime. You have a list, a sort of ancient bucket list of the most magnificent, most jaw-dropping sights the world has to offer. This wasn't just any travel guide. It was a list of 7 wonder structures so grand they seemed to defy the laws of nature and the gods. These weren't just buildings. They were bold statements of power, faith, and human ingenuity. They were the must-sees of the ancient Mediterranean drawing crowds who marveled at their scale and beauty, much like we might flock to see skyscrapers or space shuttles today. This list, first compiled by poets and historians like Antipater of Sidon, was a celebration of what humanity could achieve. It captured the imagination, spreading tales of colossal statues plated in gold, plated in ivory gardens that cascaded through the desert air, and a lighthouse whose beam could be seen from miles out at sea. Each wonder was a masterpiece of its time, a pinnacle of engineering and art that left visitors utterly speechless. These weren't just tourist spots. They were symbols of entire civilizations, testaments to their wealth, their belief systems, and their extraordinary ability to dream big and then build even bigger. But here's the truly tantalizing part of our story. Of these 7 incredible structures, only one remains for us to see today. The other 6 have vanished. They have crumbled, been torn down, or simply disappeared into the mists of time, leaving behind only fragments, ruins, and a whole host of unanswered questions. What really happened to them? Were they all just victims of time and nature, or is there more to the story? It's a historical detective case on the grandest possible scale. We are left to piece together the clues from dusty old texts, archaeological digs, and the enduring legends that have been passed down through countless generations. And so, our journey begins. We are going to step back in time, put on our historians' hats, and investigate these lost wonders. We'll explore what they looked like, why they were built, and the dramatic stories behind their ultimate demise. This isn't just a sad story about things that have been lost. It's a thrilling exploration of ambition, mystery, and the incredible power of an idea to survive long after the stones have turned to dust. Let's embark on our grand tour of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and uncover the epic secrets they left behind for us to find. Let's begin our tour in Babylon, in modern-day Iraq, a place of myth and legend. Here, we would have found the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Ancient writers described a mountain of lush greenery rising from the flat, arid desert. Tiered terraces, exotic trees, fragrant flowers, cascading vines. Water pumped from the Euphrates flowed through the structure, creating a cool, verdant paradise. Built by King Nebuchadnezzar II for his homesick wife. An engineering miracle. A man-made oasis of unbelievable beauty. Next, we sail to Olympia, Greece, home of the ancient Olympic Games. Inside a magnificent temple stood the statue of Zeus, a colossal 12-meter-tall king of the gods seated on a throne, crafted by Phidias. Skin of gleaming ivory plates. Robes, gold. Beard, gold. Hair, gold. In one hand, a statue of Nike, the goddess of victory. In the other, a scepter topped with an eagle. Visitors said it felt as if Zeus might stand. Our journey then to Ephesus, Turkey, the Temple of Artemis. A gigantic marble temple 4 times larger than the Parthenon. Over 100 intricately carved columns. Dedicated to the goddess of the hunt. Rebuilt repeatedly, each more lavish. Adorned with sculptures and artworks, a treasure house of the ancient world. A wonder that honored the gods, a testament to devotion and skill. Finally, we visit 2 colossal tombs and a giant, Halicarnassus, the mausoleum, built for Mausolus. The word mausoleum comes from him. 45 meters tall, white marble, decorated with stunning sculptures by master artists. Rhodes, the Colossus, a gigantic bronze Helios, over 30 meters tall compared visually to the Statue of Liberty. Alexandria, the Lighthouse, a towering beacon over 100 meters high, its light guiding ships into the world's busiest harbor. So, where did these incredible structures all go? Sadly, their stories often end in fire, rubble, and the relentless march of time. Let's start with the magnificent Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. Its fate is a truly dramatic tale. In 356 BC, a man named Herostratus, desperate for fame at any cost, set fire to the beautiful wooden roof of the temple. He wanted his name to go down in history, even for a terrible act. Although the Ephesians later rebuilt it on an even grander scale, this new temple was eventually destroyed by a rampaging mob of Goths in 262 AD. What was left was later stripped for building materials, its fine marble carried away. The golden ivory statue of Zeus at Olympia met a similarly tragic, though more mysterious end. For centuries it sat peacefully in its temple, dazzling all who came to see it. The Roman Empire adopted Christianity, the old pagan gods fell out of favor, and the Olympic Games were banned in 393 AD. The statue's fate is uncertain. One story suggests it was moved to a palace in Constantinople, where it was later destroyed in a terrible fire in 475 AD. Another version claims it was stripped of its precious gold and ivory and left to decay in the abandoned temple. What about the giants of our list? The Colossus of Rhodes, that towering bronze god, had a surprisingly short life for a wonder. It stood for only about 54 years before a powerful earthquake snapped it at the knees in 226 BC. For almost 1,000 years, the giant pieces of the fallen statue lay on the ground where they fell, becoming a tourist attraction. Pliny the Elder wrote that few men could even wrap their arms around its fallen thumb. Finally, in the 7th century AD, invaders were said to have melted down the bronze remains and sold them for scrap metal. The other wonders met similar fates, mostly at the hands of Mother Nature. The legendary Lighthouse of Alexandria, which guided sailors for over 1,500 years, was gradually battered into submission by a series of powerful earthquakes between the 10th and 14th centuries. It crumbled into the sea, its stones later used to build a fort on the same site. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus also fell victim to earthquakes, and its stones, like those of the lighthouse, were repurposed by crusading knights to fortify their castle nearby. It seems that even the grandest human creations are no match for the Earth's power and the practical needs of later generations. Amidst all this destruction and decay, one wonder stands tall, proud, and almost perfectly intact: the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's not only the last survivor, but also, by far, the oldest of all the 7 wonders. It was already ancient when some of the other wonders were being built. So, what is its secret? How has it managed to outlast its peers for over 4,500 years? The answer lies in 3 simple but profound factors: its design, its material, its location. It's a masterclass in how to build something that lasts for an eternity, a lesson written in stone. First, let's talk about its shape. The pyramid is a work of geometric genius. It is, at its core, a giant, incredibly stable mountain of stone. Its wide, heavy base and low center of gravity make it almost impossible to topple. Unlike tall, slender structures like the Lighthouse, the Colossus, which were vulnerable to being shaken apart by earthquakes, the pyramid's shape is designed to withstand immense pressure and ground movement. The sheer weight and interlocking nature of its massive stone blocks mean it simply sits, immovable and solid, anchored to the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. It is elegance and strength combined in one perfect form. Second, the materials are key. The Great Pyramid isn't made of delicate ivory, flammable wood, valuable bronze that could be melted down. It's built from millions of massive blocks of limestone and limestone granite, some weighing several tons. This isn't a material that tempts looters looking for a quick profit, nor does it easily burn or decay. While its original smooth outer casing of white limestone was stripped away centuries ago to build the city of Cairo, the core structure underneath is so vast and so solid that it has remained largely untouched. It's quite simply too big and too basic to be easily destroyed or repurposed. Finally, location, location, location. The pyramid was built in a place that has been its greatest ally, the dry, stable desert of Egypt. Situated away from major earthquake fault lines, very little rainfall, it has been spared the destructive forces of water and seismic activity that brought down so many of the other wonders. The sand has, at times, even protected its base, burying it and preserving it from the elements. This combination of brilliant design, robust materials, a fortunate location has granted the Great Pyramid a longevity that the other wonders could only dream of, making it a true and timeless survivor. The loss of these 6 wonders has created a void, and into that void have rushed centuries of myths, legends, tantalizing mysteries. Because we have so little physical evidence, these stories have grown larger and more fantastic with time, blurring the line between history and fantasy. The most captivating mystery of all surrounds the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The biggest question is a simple one: did they even exist? Despite vivid descriptions from Greek writers, Roman writers, archaeologists have found no definitive proof of their location in the ruins of Babylon. There are no Babylonian texts that mention a magnificent garden built by their king. This lack of evidence has led to some fascinating theories. One compelling idea proposed by Dr. Stephanie Dalley of Oxford University is that the gardens weren't in Babylon at all. She suggests there was a historical mix-up and that the legendary gardens were actually located in the rival city of Nineveh, built by the Assyrian king Sennacherib. Archaeological evidence in Nineveh points to a vast and complex system of aqueducts that could have watered a spectacular garden, one that matches the ancient descriptions far better. So perhaps the Hanging Gardens of Babylon is a case of mistaken identity, a story that got attached to the wrong city over time. Legends also swirl around the Colossus of Rhodes. For centuries, people believed it stood with one foot on either side of the harbor entrance, with ships sailing between its legs. This image is incredibly powerful, but almost certainly incorrect. Engineers today agree that it would have been impossible to build such a structure with ancient technology, and it would have required closing the vital harbor for years. It's more likely that the statue stood on a pedestal to one side of the entrance, in a more conventional pose. The myth of the straddling giant, however, was just too good to let go, and has persisted in art and literature ever since. Even the known facts are wrapped in a sense of wonder. Think of the sheer human effort involved. The Great Pyramid was built with millions of stones moved without wheels, without modern machinery. The statue of Zeus was created in a workshop that was later discovered by archaeologists, complete with tools left over scraps of ivory, giving us a direct connection to the master sculptor Phidias. These stories, whether proven fact or enduring myth, are what keep the wonders alive. They challenge our understanding of the ancient world and remind us that it was a place of incredible ambition, skill, and perhaps a little bit of magic. The disappearance of these 6 magnificent wonders teaches us a powerful and rather humbling lesson. Greatness is fragile. These structures were the pinnacles of their civilizations, symbols of immense power, symbols of immense wealth, symbols of faith. They were built to last forever, to project the glory of kings and gods across the ages. Yet they fell. The shaking of the earth, the lick of a flame, the shifting sands of politics and religion, and the simple human tendency to reuse old materials for new projects. Their stories are a stark reminder that nothing, no matter how grand or seemingly permanent, is immune to the passage of time. However, the story doesn't end with their physical destruction. In fact, in a strange way, their disappearance is part of what makes them so powerful today. Because they are gone, they exist in a realm that is even more vast and enduring, our collective imagination. We can't just go and see them, so we are forced to rebuild them in our minds using the clues left behind by ancient writers. This act of imagination makes our connection to them deeply personal. We become co-creators of their legacy, envisioning the gleam of the ivory, the scent of the gardens, and the sheer scale of the Colossus. Their loss has transformed them from mere stone and metal into powerful ideas. This is why they continue to inspire us so much. They represent the peak of human ambition and the desire to create something truly extraordinary. Artists, architects, and writers have been fascinated by them for centuries, attempting to capture their lost splendor in paintings, models, and stories. They have become the ultimate symbols of lost glory, fueling countless adventures in books and films. The wonders challenge us to ask, what are the great things we can achieve? They are a benchmark for human creativity, a reminder that with vision and determination, we can build things that will be remembered thousands of years from now. So, while the stones may have crumbled, the idea of the 7 wonders has proven to be far more resilient. The list itself is a work of art, a concept that has survived intact even as its subjects have vanished. It tells us that a great story can outlive even the greatest building. The tale of their magnificence and their tragic loss is a story of ambition, beauty, and decay. It's a drama that continues to captivate us, reminding us of both our incredible creative power and our ultimate vulnerability in the face of time. The wonders are gone, but their legend is and will remain immortal. The story of the Lost Wonders serves as more than just a fascinating history lesson. It's a profound and urgent warning for our own time. Looking back at the rubble and ruin, we can see how easily treasures can be lost forever. We are lucky enough to have inherited a world still filled with wonders, both ancient and natural. From the Great Wall of China, the city of Machu Picchu, the Amazon rainforest, the Great Barrier Reef, our planet is home to irreplaceable heritage. The fate of the ancient wonders begs the question, what will our legacy be? Will we be the generation that allowed our wonders to disappear? Protecting these sites is a monumental task. The threats they face today are just as formidable as the earthquakes and fires of the past. climate change, pollution, unsustainable tourism, conflict threaten our shared global heritage. The very same forces of nature, now amplified by human activity, threaten to submerge coastal cities and erode ancient monuments. We are in a race against time, and just like the Ephesians who rebuilt their temple, we have a choice. We can either stand by and watch these treasures fade away, or we can take decisive action to preserve them for the future. This responsibility falls on all of us. Governments, international organizations like UNESCO play a crucial role in designating and protecting World Heritage Sites, but the power of individual action should not be underestimated. By traveling responsibly, supporting conservation efforts, and most importantly, educating ourselves and others about the value of these places, we can all become guardians of our planet's heritage. We can foster a global culture of respect and care, ensuring that future generations have the chance to be inspired by these places, just as we are today. We must learn from the past, not just admire it. Ultimately, the tale of the Seven Wonders is a call to action. It shows us that beauty is precious and that we cannot take its survival for granted. The Great Pyramid stands as a lonely testament to what can endure when the conditions are right. But the ghosts of the other six remind us how easily glory can turn to dust. Let us be inspired by their stories to dream big and create our own wonders, and to become the dedicated custodians of the treasures we still have. Let's ensure that 2,000 years from now, people will look back and say that our generation understood the lesson and chose to protect its wonders for all time.